Am I the a-hole for kicking my brother out after he insulted my wife? Hi Reddit, I made this account to get some outside perspective on something that's been weighing on me. I, 32M, am currently in a messy situation with my younger brother, 27M, and it's created a bit of a rift in my family. I've always been the one to keep the peace, but I don't know if I went too far this time, or if I finally had to draw a line. My brother, let's call him Jake, has been staying with me and my wife, Kara, 30F, for the past month. He's been going through a rough patch between apartments, short on savings, and generally trying to get back on his feet. When he told me he had nowhere to stay for a while, I didn't even think twice. We have a guest room, and I figured giving him a place to crash for a few weeks was the right thing to do. For most of the first few weeks, everything was fine. We'd hang out in the evenings, eat dinner together, and watch movies or sports. Kara was incredibly gracious about the whole thing. She made sure Jake felt included and comfortable, even though his presence was clearly a disruption to our usual routines. She's always been supportive like that, compassionate, kind, and not one to complain. Now, for some important context, Kara recently made a huge life decision. After years of grinding away in a high-paying but soul-crushing corporate job, she took a leap of faith and switched careers. She's now working in a creative field that fulfills her, but of course, it comes with a pay cut. We talked it over thoroughly before she made the move. I fully support her, and we're financially stable enough for her to pursue her passion. Money is not an issue for us. Well, apparently Jake had a problem with it. Last weekend, we were all sitting in the living room watching TV. It had been a normal day, nothing out of the ordinary, when out of nowhere, Jake turned to Kara and said with a laugh, "Haha, you're basically living off my brother, right? What a gold digger." The room fell completely silent. I stared at him, stunned. Kara looked like someone had slapped her. I immediately told Jake that was way out of line, that what he said was incredibly disrespectful and completely uncalled for. Kara tried to keep it together and told him that what he said was both rude and flat out wrong. Instead of backing down or apologizing, Jake doubled down. He actually had the audacity to say, "Well, I call it like I see it. Maybe if you weren't so lazy and got a better job, you wouldn't have to mooch off my brother." I lost it. I told him right then and there that if he was going to insult my wife under my roof, he could pack his stuff and leave. He scoffed and said I was overreacting to a joke. But here's the thing, neither of us thought it was a joke. Kara was literally on the verge of tears. She tried to excuse herself and walk away, but by that point I was fuming. I told him he had 1 hour to pack up and get out. We ended up yelling at each other. He accused me of being whipped and said I was choosing a woman over family. I told him he chose to disrespect my wife in her own home, and that was something I would never tolerate. Eventually, he left, slamming the door behind him. Now, a few days have passed, and things have only gotten messier. My parents are furious with me. They agree that what Jake said was wrong, in poor taste, as they put it, but they think I overreacted. Their view is that I should have let things cool down and had a calm talk the next day instead of throwing him out on the street. To be fair, they're in a tough spot. They live in state-funded housing and aren't allowed to take anyone in, so Jake doesn't have many options right now. Jake, for his part, has not apologized. Instead, he sent me a few texts where he blames Kara for being too sensitive and says I can't take a joke anymore. He genuinely believes he did nothing wrong. That makes me even more furious, because at the very least, he could have acknowledged that he hurt someone. Kara has been quiet about it, but she told me privately that she really appreciated me standing up for her. She said that even though the situation was awful, she felt protected, like I had her back. That meant everything to me. I didn't marry Kara just to let someone, even family, walk all over her. Still, a part of me wonders, did I move too fast? Should I have cooled down and handled it differently? Was I too emotional in the moment? My parents are still pressing me to let Jake come back, just for a little while, they say, and they think I should just set firmer boundaries and rules. But I'm not willing to open my home to someone who refuses to take accountability for being cruel to my wife. Not without a sincere apology. Right now, that doesn't feel likely. Edit. After reading a lot of the comments here and receiving some DMs with advice, I'm considering a middle ground solution. I'm thinking of renting a low-cost studio apartment in a less expensive part of town, just until Jake can get back on his feet. But this would only happen if Kara agrees, and only if Jake gives a genuine apology, not just to me, but to her as well. I don't want to see my brother homeless. I still love him and I want him to be okay. But I also won't compromise my wife's sense of safety and dignity in her own home. So, am I the a-hole for kicking my brother out after he insulted my wife?